Bonjour, Donna. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's been a long day, and I know we've been back to back with interviews, so we had you wait a little bit. Thank you very much for taking the time. We're at Innovate Finance Global Summit 2019. You contributed to a panel. Could you please tell us more about you and share your views on regulation?
Sure. So I'm Donna Parisi. I'm with the global law firm of Shearman and Sterling. We have offices in over 18 countries, and the panel I participated on today was to regulate or not to regulate. And interestingly enough, we had a panel that included two regulators, two advisors, and someone from the industry. And the consensus was that the industry, the crypto asset industry, does need to be regulated.
That's a good consensus to reach. After how long?
Well, yeah. No.
So what about the audience then? The reaction, the response of the audience when they were listening to that?
The moderator asked the audience the question, and actually only two people in the audience raised their hands saying they didn't think that crypto assets should be regulated. And I think the reason why we're coming to this consensus today at this point in the journey is because regulation does promote safety and stability. Mm-hmm. And what people fear more than regulation is uncertainty. They want to know the rules of the road, they want to grow their business, and they want to just say, okay, tell me what I need to do so that I can get on with growing my business.
So if we step back, it's an interesting topic because, as you said, it could be a catalyst or a detractor almost of innovation, especially in financial services. And regulation in the UK and with open banking is fundamentally different from other countries like the US. So first question would be, with your extensive experience, how do you approach both markets, so the US, how would you advise your clients versus the UK, for instance? Do you see a fundamental shift or difference in terms of advisory work, again, for your clients in those two very different markets?
Yes, I mean, on the surface, I think that there are differences. The UK has been very forward-thinking when it comes to the fintech industry and regulation. The FCA regulatory sandbox has been tremendous in promoting innovation in the UK. The US is a bit more cautious. And the thing that I would say about that, and it's become clear to me during this week, is it really depends on your position on the global stage. So, for example, in the US, there's a lot of confidence in the US capital markets. So there's not a lot of incentive for the regulators to get it wrong. So the US, I think by definition, will be a little less regulatory innovative, shall we say, right? I met with two gentlemen, one from Gibraltar, one from Malta. Or if you look at some other countries in developing nations that have underserved communities, well, what's most important to them and what is their imperative is to bring banking and financial services to the underbanked and the non-banked. So they're going to be willing to take some more regulatory risks in order to serve their constituents.
But there's not so many incentives, you mean, in a country like the US. That's what we're saying, essentially. Yeah. Based on your experience, again, I mean, advising, so if we step back, actually, could you please tell us more about what you do on a daily basis and which type of services you provide to your customers? And then on the back of that, I've got a few more questions.
Sure. So my role at the firm includes being head of financial services. And in that role, which is a relationship role in part, and in covering our very established financial institution clients, it became clear 5 or so years ago that fintech was going to be a disruptor to the industry. So we got in front of it, immersed ourselves in the ecosystem, tried to learn as much as we could, and we formally launched our Fintech Foundry program last year. So Fintech Foundry has 3 pillars. The first one is our Fintech Salons. This is where we bring the community together to share problems, share solutions, get to know each other, raise their brand and visibility. The second pillar is Fintech Insights, and this is our thought leadership blog. So we publish client alerts, try to do some real-time blog reporting. We published a few weeks ago an interactive global regulatory sandbox map. So if you go to our website and you click on it, you can see the different fintech regulatory sandboxes throughout the world and a link to their site. And then our third pillar is called Fintech Advisory, and this is where we provide mentorship and advice to the startup community, the entrepreneurs. And we tend to partner with either fintech accelerators sponsored by financial institutions or by corporate enterprises in working with these fintech startups. One of the ones we've worked on recently was the Female Founders in Fintech competition, where I was a judge, and it was super fun getting to know the participants and the women involved.
And are we talking like on the global scale, global level, or especially, or to start with, in the US or North America?
It's very interesting in the sense that this was a North America-based competition, but like our clients, the world is global. So we had women from all over the globe participating, serving communities all around the globe. So it really was a global competition.
So I'm always a huge fan or a supporter of those initiatives. I think we should have more of those, and we should change fundamentally the way we manage or run those fintech organizations worldwide. But months ago-ish, or a month and a half, we had like the International Women's Day. And of course, fintech was of course included, and we're very close to Rise London, so which is part of the Barclays network. So with a lot of fintechs, and we had fantastic women like speaking, which is Megan Kaywood, who works now for Barclays. She shared a story, it was very inspirational. What's your view on how can we further accelerate that, like transformation of the industry and having more like women leaders and founders, and more money investment allocated to female-led businesses, which we shouldn't even talk about it in 2019, but it should be there already. So, and how do you contribute as an organization?
So on International Women's Day, we hosted a breakfast in collaboration with Women in Fintech, and I moderated a panel. And we talked about these very issues. And where we came out is that we need to attack it from every angle and create a virtuous circle, right? So we had female founders on the panel and in the audience, and they shared some of their challenges, right? Which, again, you would hope we were past this, but what the feedback we got was, I'm asked questions about my family situation, about my home responsibilities, things that men just don't get asked. And one of the women on the panel, Jennifer Byrne of Kesnay, basically said, let's use some humor to diffuse that. And when I got asked those questions, when I was a female founder, I told them all about my wonderful male nanny, and they got the message, right? So I think part of it is that, again, we hope we're beyond this. We're not. We could be really rigid and complain, but we could also be flexible and use humor to sort of make people understand why some of those questions may not be appropriate. We also had women on the panel that talked about the importance of women on boards, right? So that's one thing that Shearman and Sterling is very committed to, is getting more women on boards and in leadership positions, both in the legal community and in the corporate community. So if we have women on boards that are asking the right questions and creating the right incentives, that's helpful. We had a woman in the audience who stood up in the middle of the session and said, I am a female venture capitalist, and here's the name of my firm. And when this is wrapped up, if any of you are interested in talking to me, come see me. We had a woman who started a co-founder of Golden Seeds, which is an angel investing network that focuses on women-owned businesses. So again, you'll see that at all different points in the investment cycle and in the ecosystem, if we have women committed to advancing women, it will happen. And the other point I would make is that we need men to be our allies, right? Because women have been talking about this for years, and we can talk to each other till we're blue in the face, but we need to bring men in, get them committed to the cause, and have them understand that this is about growing the pie bigger, not about taking a slice away from them.
As you said, we men need to understand, fully appreciate, and change as well. It's all about changing, and it's not just the women trying to mobilize themselves, which is great. But if we're not involved and if we're not ready to change, and we won't go very, very far if we don't do so. If I step back again, or maybe last question, you're very busy. It's a busy market. It's a transformative industry, fintech. A lot of appetite from the ecosystem to help fintech firms, right? So there's a lot of law firms, targeting that new-ish market. Could you please share with us your key differentiators, or why you believe young startups should start working and interacting with you and not some of your competitors?
Absolutely. Our key differentiators are the fact that we're global. We're a global law firm, right? We're around the world, where all the fintech startups are and where their markets are. We've been advising financial institutions for over 100 years, and so we can bring that experience and judgment to fintech and help them navigate, which is a complex regulatory space. We're also forward-thinking and innovative, and we're excited about working with the startups and the fintech innovators. So I think what really our differentiator is that we've got the experience, the judgment, the knowledge of the industry, and a big drive to move it forward.
It's amazing. Thank you very much for your time,
you.
Donna. I hope we'll have a chance to catch up soon, maybe in New York or maybe that side of the pond. And remember, 255th, that's one of the best rooftops in New York. So thank you very much.